Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game of Fans First Sports Network.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
And the guy himself, Generation Jaguars, Jordan Lugo, is in the building, finding time during Jaguars training camp. Jordan, of course, thank you for coming in, but there's one quick thing we got to do first. And I got to throw shouts to our early commenters who do the thing every time. Radius is in Europe saying, hey, guys, listen, I can't make the real thing, but I'm going to see you on demand. The show kicks off at 2 a.m. my time, so I'll catch you on video on demand. Looking forward to hearing your insights. Thank you, Radius. And, of course,
where's he?
Robert? Yeah, who's he? Know who you are?
Radius is in the UK. I believe he's in.
Okay. Yeah, he is in. I believe he's in the UK. Robert probably watches your show too. He's everywhere. I know we ran into him on the Men in Teal pod. But yeah, let's go. Camp has been full speed to say the least. I know we're going to touch on that, but first of all, I want to come out quickly and say something. I don't want any trouble from you two. Because apparently, if Jaguar Twitter's to be believed, is you guys are bitter rivals, as you have different opinions of things that are happening at camp. So I
didn't even know that was a thing until Travis tweeted something about it. I have no idea what's going on. So
it's a lot of the mentions, man. They're always trying to put you against me or put Jamal against you because you will have one take and then I'll have a different take, or it's the same take, but it's just small differences that we might tweet out. And I just thought it was real funny. I've seen like 5 conversations around it. And I just thought it was hilarious because people don't know, man. You're fam. Us and Jamal, I mean, hell, Jamal's been on this podcast like 6 times at this point. I think he's my most frequent, like, returning guest. That's
you're
that's
catching
the
up,
homie.
Gordon. You're creeping up.
Yeah, I mean, we stand next to each other for like half the practice. We're chatting about whatever's going on.
So, I mean, folks are going to come to different conclusions looking at some of these plays, man, and that's going to just happen. That's part of the game. We're looking at this thing one time with no replay. At the end of the day, you're going to come to different conclusions, but for the most part, we're saying the same things with small differences. It is what it is, but it's Duval till we die. And
not only are you seeing the play only once, the vantage point is usually not very good.
Right.
Yes. That's a great point.
And you're trying to provide the best insights you can.
Looking through the backs of offensive linemen who are lined up behind guys and everything else, man. So, I mean, that's at the end of all of it. It's Duval till we die. And every person that you're talking about right now is Duval. Keep that energy focused elsewhere. This is all love over here.
You know, here's the thing. I bring this topic up. The only one who caught any true strays was me. Why we got to talk trash on old linemen? What the hell, Travis?
Y'all got to be smaller, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I can't look through y'all, man.
Don't tell Trevor that. Oh my God. Anyways, you know, I got to tell you, I had to get that out of the way to have a little fun. But let's come right out with it here. There's a number of questions we have from the people at large. Obviously, you guys have shared your opinions throughout the place. I know for a fact that Travis D. Holmes on Big Cat Country has been writing some of the things. But yeah, the first question I want to come out the gate with too. I know you had a dedicated pod talking tight ends. Actually, Travis here on the Duval Dive. That was very interesting. But we do have somebody asking, in camp, has Strange? He thinks that Brandon potentially being avoided is strange. Brenton Strange being avoided? I don't think so. I don't know. What have you guys seen in camp? Has Brenton Strange been targeted all camp? Is the question.
Yeah, knock it out.
Yeah, I would say not quite as much as I expected. He did have like the first catch of team yesterday. Got wide open down the offensive left side and probably would have picked up at least 20 yards on that play. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been a little sparse, but when you have Brian Thomas Jr. and De'Ami Brown and Travis Hunter, and you're throwing to the running backs a lot out of the backfield as well, this is what I caution people against who were talking about Brenton Strange as a breakout tight end from a fantasy perspective. I think he's going to get the job done. I just don't know that he's going to have the targets to really produce consistently enough to be a true fantasy asset, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me add this too, Jordan. It's not just that. You're trying. I believe that there's a possibility, and granted, I can't read Liam Cohen's mind. Hell, you guys are the ones that can't. Maybe he's even said something about this. But from my perspective, you have a quarterback that's coming back from injury that hasn't necessarily thrown the ball deep a lot, who you're trying to probably get the rust out of him by flinging the ball throughout camp, which would, by the way, at this point to camp last year, be completely different than Doug Peterson coming out and going with red zone early on to the point where people are like, I don't know about Brian Thomas Jr. Is he harping about the shorts where he told everybody what was up last year? Yes, Travis, I am. Check it out, Duval Dive. When everybody was telling me how Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't all that, and then they actually opened the field up and got away from red zone. Okay, right. So I say all that to say, I think an element of it too, just like you said, Jordan, to the build of the offense itself, I think some of it is giving Trevor back into the groove. I don't know. Is that crazy to think?
I mean, maybe, but also I try to look at this multiple ways, because I've always, to Jordan's original point, is I've always thought that the tight end position would be very much a big position and a highly valued position from the scope of team building perspective, while not being a fantasy football darling, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't think it was going to necessarily show this huge material effect as far as the fantasy football and stat game, while still being big because of blocking and big because of the run game and all those things. So when you show me that Brenton Strange has one catch on Thursday, one catch on Friday, 2 catches on Monday, one of them just a check down, and one catch, on 2 total targets on Tuesday, one of them was an end zone incompletion, so at least it was in the end zone. That was the one that Eric Murray broke up. Then you're saying, all right, this is not a lot, especially when you're considering it's happening while Johnny Munt is also being, is injured for much of this portion of camp. That's not a lot. And if you're someone who already drafted, maybe, and you're like, oh man, this is not good for my for my fantasy team, I understand it. But from a team building perspective, baby, this is probably what you should have expected with, like Jordan said, Travis Hunter, with De'Ami Brown, with BTJ, with all these guys and the running back checkdowns. You can't have it both ways. People out here like clapping, like, hey, we're looking, Trevor Lawrence is checking the ball down. You see it, guys? While also saying, well, yay, Trevor Lawrence isn't throwing the ball to the tight end because it's the same check down. It's just checking it down to the running back instead of checking it down to a tight end. I'd rather take 5 yards on the running back catching the ball with yak versus a tight end when the check down that's probably going to get tackled. So you're going to have to take it. You're going to have to give it and take it on both sides. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I truly thought like, this is kind of what you have to expect when you're installing an offense, and all these guys, there's only one ball to go around. And unfortunately, that just means that someone is going to be starving one Sunday.
Yeah, I also think there's going to be weeks where you're like, oh, crap, Brenton Strange just caught 6 passes for 100 yards and scored a touchdown.
And it's halftime.
I don't know about all that, but yeah. But,
he's going to be a great streaming. He's going to be a great streaming option, but not necessarily your great
graphic. I deserve.
Well, you don't know when it's going to happen. Yeah. See, you don't know when it's going to happen.
That's the part that stinks. That's just part that stinks. I'm a little late on the graphic. I'm so sorry. I missed out.
Yes, you got. I didn't even realize I did it until I did it, or else I would have prepared you. That's my bad.
Lord. So man. So at the end of the day, I think Brenton Strange has been fine. I think when he's just not getting the ball because there's one ball to go around, and he may be third, maybe even fourth or fifth in the pecking order of the hierarchy of who's going to be the primary route, the primary read on the play. So it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see what happens when they get into like real game situations, and maybe it'll be a Brenton Strange week, and then like Jordan said, you'll get 5, 6, 7 targets, and everyone's happy. Or not. I don't know.
There's the long list of reasons, though, that we just went through. Jordan, obviously, you nailed it with, I think, the makeup of the offense. I mentioned Trevor, maybe the coaches are, getting his arm trained and warm. Hey, this stuff where you only give BTJ 1 target in the first half, days of the past, fool. Like maybe they're trying to, work him out in the right direction. And I think, Travis, it was you that eloquently mentioned, as we have before on this show throughout the offseason, let's call it what it is. And you probably said it too on Generation Jaguar, Jordan. But that's right, I plugged you. This is what we do. But you probably mentioned yourself that ETN is going to be a check down option and piece, just like any of the running backs. So
not just check down, screens too.
Correct. That's a great point.
Big time.
I mean, especially
they're going to be a heavy screen team. And I knew that
Yes,
before
man.
training camp, right? But nothing has told me otherwise since training camp started.
Everything is said it. Everything screamed it. The addition of De'Ami Brown and how he was just freaking not bulleted, pelleted with screens in Washington. The fact that Liam's did it so often in Tampa Bay. They were top of the league. They weren't top of the league, but I think they were top 3 in the league. The number of screens that they ran, and if you're talking the second half of the season, they were first in the league in the number of screens that they ran. So I'm just like, yeah, this seems very obvious. They're going to give Trevor these layups. Doug them. They didn't do them very often. Oh, Trevor will have them. And Brett Coleman, for any of you who haven't seen it, Brett Coleman bootleg podcast, they did their own Jacksonville Jaguars breakdown. It was a great hour plus of Jaguar data and everything else that they do every year. Take a look at it. But those guys also mentioned the same thing. Hey, man, Trevor Lawrence will have all the layups that he ever wanted in the screen game this season. Hopefully he can matriculate the ball down the field on the other plays, the slants, the crossers, all those things that Doug Peterson got away with since 2022. So it should be an interesting season, that's for sure.
Did you just
listen to that?
Sorry, go ahead, Jordan. My bad.
I listened to that, and they do a great job. But there were some things that I kind of took umbrage with that they were talking about. But when you're a show that covers every single team in the NFL, at that type of
depth,
the minutia,
over
an hour for every single team, you're going to get a few things wrong. But I just thought when they were talking about the defense last year, saying like that the players just weren't good versus like the defense not being coached that well. To me, it was much more about coaching on the back end and the fact that they were asked to put on exponential amounts of weight before the season to where, they were like happy that Andre Cisco was gone. And I know a lot of fans were too, but I have a feeling Andre Cisco is going to do fine.
He's going to bounce back
in Aaron Glenn's defense in New York.
Yeah.
Right?
He's going to bounce back. I agree.
And so there's some things like that. And,
there were some guys who just weren't real great, fits in the defense, and they just didn't play well. And there were other guys who probably could have just simply done better if they didn't have 30 pounds of greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, rams, hogs, you name it. But no, it was.
And they were also talking about like what position is Caleb Ransaw going to play?
See,
he's clearly a safety for the Jaguars.
It's one thing if you skip the hockey rotation cliche like all of us have adopted, which I'll give shouts to T. Wiggs, Locked On Jaguars. He was the first place I heard it. But if you're not going to check that box, at least be aware of the other things that are going on. Come on, Brett. I know you're better. Anyways, go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah. No, but I got you. But if we're speaking of Caleb Ransaw, I mean, let's just hop into it. If that's the case, like, come on, like,
present. There we go.
Well, Jerry Bot 3000 on link this letter on Twitter as a DB specialist. Is there a young guy who's quietly doing everything right in camp so far? Haven't heard too much about Jarian Jones, Caleb Ransaw, or Ray Lane, and I thought that was an interesting one since we've kind of seen a lot about Jarian Jones over these past 2 practices. No, what are your thoughts, sir? Who's that young guy who's kind of doing a lot of things right?
Man, honestly, like Caleb has done some good things. Jarian, I mean, he made in one-on-ones one of the best catches you'll ever see. Covering Brian Thomas Jr. But to me, some of the guys that are undrafted have really kind of stood out. I feel like I've seen 34 quite a bit, and Zechariah McPherson.
Yeah,
I've seen him make a lot of plays on the ball. I've seen him get his hands on the ball. Aiden White has made several plays. He got an interception off Nick Mullins. He's made some pass breakups. But I think Caleb Ransaw has done a good job, and I think Jarian's done a good job. Who was the other player? Ray Lane. I haven't noticed him much on defense, but he is right now should be more focused on special teams. He is a special teams ace, a stud in special teams, and that's how he's going to potentially make the football team as a rookie.
No, I think I'm fully with you. Like, I think the easy answer at this point if you don't know about Jarian Jones and how he's played these past few practices, then you're obviously not reading Big Cat Country. Get a hold of yourself. But now that we're past,
done being concerned about him playing on the outside, like that's a thing of the past. Now we're good. Okay,
man, I just wanted to see it. All I needed.
I wasn't coming. I really wasn't coming after you that time, Travis. I promise.
But I felt like, hey, I see Jarian all the time, man. We have great conversations. Like we talked for like 15, 20 minutes the other day. Like I'm cool with Jarian. I just needed to see it in the NFL because I've seen it in college and I've seen it was up and down depending on whenever they had him outside. He was solid. Not incredible, but solid. And then they put him in a slot, and he was incredible. And when someone's just incredible at something, you want them to do that thing all the time. So I just needed to see it. I needed proof of concept. And boy, did he give it. He has given it these past 2 days with Montero Brown out on, with his lower body injury. And seems he's going to be out the entire rest of camp per Coach Cohen. So this is Jarian's time to shine, and boy, has he. Like, I got nothing to say. Shut my mouth very quickly.
I've always been, I understand Buster Brown's experience and all that stuff. If it's not Travis out there, and I'm not talking about Travis Holmes, I'm talking about Travis Hunter. If it's not Travis, take a drink. My bad. If it's not Travis Hunter, it should be Jarian.
If it's not Travis Hunter, it should be Jarian. So you're saying it should
be Jarian. 3 I want on the field are Tyson
over Jordan?
No.
Okay.
Because they don't play the same spot. Okay. Jordan Lewis is the starting nickel.
Yeah.
To me, it needs to be Tyson.
First down of the season. You got Tyson, and who's your other outside guy?
Travis.
So you have Travis as your first guy. You're saying if it's not Travis, then it's
Jarian.
When he's taking a blow because he caught a 90.
And I wouldn't be mad if it's Jordan outside. Not Jordan DeLugo, Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, right. That's really my question.
When there's two corners. Like if you're in base, I wouldn't be mad about that. The only thing I'll say about Jordan Lewis outside, and again, they're going to be probably first down, you're probably talking about some sort of zone coverage, right?
Yep.
Too high shell. He's not the best athlete compared to a Jarian Jones. Like Jarian is just much more of an athlete at this point in their respective careers.
Sure. Okay.
I mean,
he can run with more people?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's right or wrong. I'm just thinking it's spicy. But yeah, go ahead.
He can run with people. I mean, he's 4.3 speed. Jordan Lewis is not bringing that to the field. He is bringing a wealth of experience and technique, and I love his game. But again, that's just if Travis Hunter's not out there, and I think Travis Hunter should be out there the majority of the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. And again, if they end up deciding that they want Travis Hunter to play the first, especially early on, like they just decide they want Travis Hunter to be your primary wide receiver, and have him in primarily on passing downs or something along those lines, third down packages, I'd be okay with that too. Like I don't have a strong opinion as far as how this has to go, but I also do believe that that secondary core right now is going to be very strong. I do feel that. I thought it might be the case originally, but like I say, I'm never going to be the guy to trust without proof of concept. I think I'm kind of seeing it like right now, like
including the safeties.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the corners.
Okay.
Based on the defenses that I expect him to play, at least a lot of cover 6, a lot of cover 2, maybe sprinkling a little cover 4. But that's what I expect to see more of, especially on those first and second down situations. We'll see what third down looks like. But if that is the case, then yeah, I'm feeling comfortable with the corners because most of those situations you could play. If you're playing cover 4, you really want to have more like 4 corner type guys on the field. Cool. Jaguars got those for spades. So you just got one safety over the top. I feel very comfortable playing those types of coverages. And if that's what they're going to do, then yeah, I think they're in a good spot.
Well, let me throw this in here too. You've talked about the youth at length, Jordan, and the point you just make, I think, kind of carries into this as well, Travis. Comment question here from Carlos Reyes. Has the energy on defense, or how's the energy on on defense versus last year. Feels like camp itself has a bit more energy and competition this year. Jordan, what's your site been? What do you feel like that's the case?
Yeah, it's definitely higher energy defensively. Look, I think very quickly last year, the guys on defense did not like the way they were being coached.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And this year, it's the exact opposite. They're excited about Anthony Campanile. They're excited about their positional coaches, the way they're being coached. They're excited about the scheme and the teaching and the understanding of it all. And you're seeing Foye and Devin and Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker absolutely fly around the field and make a ton of plays. And we're already talking about the corners. The safeties are making plays too. I'm not saying the safety group's going to be, all pros, Pro Bowl caliber players, but they are making plays in practice as well. And so, yeah, the defense is flying around and playing fast, it feels like.
Right. And I think I can agree with that. Like, at the end of the day, the energy level, it's not close to anything that we've seen in Jacksonville in the Urban Meyer situation. I can't even call that regime, just situation. Just that whole situation, even in the Doug Peterson situation, when you're working under Mike Caldwell, and I like Mike Caldwell, and I'm going to acknowledge that, hey, I like what he was doing because I'm a DB guy. I like the things that he was doing in the secondary, the unique coverages he was kind of throwing out there, like inverted cover 2 and stuff like that. I like that stuff. And I can also acknowledge that they were still terrible when they were running their stunts. Like, they were often running into each other and colliding and things of that nature. They weren't very clean. And there were a few things where I'm just like, it feels like y'all not practicing this right. Y'all feel like y'all not drilling this enough. They weren't like feeling like they were drilling, forcing fumbles and things like that. They were solid in interceptions. It's just a few things where I'm like, it doesn't feel like y'all are watching the small things. You're not dotting the T's and crossing the I's. And I think, well, there's my thing. I've seen with my eyes that I'm like, oh no, they seem to be on top of the small things with this coaching staff. That means nothing if they don't win games. It means nothing if they're not a dominant defense. And I want to be very clear in saying that. I'm not like up here ready for them to just be dominant. And I'm like, yay, go Jaguars. Nah, man, I'm not that guy. Like, I need to see it on the field, but I will acknowledge I'm also a process guy, and I see them drilling turnovers 2 times in practice. I see them punching the ball every dang practice. I've seen multiple practices where 4 to 5 balls on the ground. I see that. So I think that will transition on the field. And because of those things, I can understand why these guys might be a little bit excited, because they haven't seen that throughout Urban Meyer or Doug Peterson's tenures. This might be the first time they've seen that in 5-6 years. I get it.
Yeah. And they're an attention to detail coaching staff. Bottom line. Whether that translates to wins, we'll see. But they are an attention to detail coaching staff.
That's it.
And very hardworking. I mean, they will burn it at both ends.
Oh, man.
I don't think there's any doubt with that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But let's go ahead and get to the juicy stuff. We've gone around the offense, we've gone around the defense. Now let's talk about the quarterback here. Friend of the show, Mike Clinton, comes in. Do I need to be concerned that I'm seeing very little written about Trevor? New offense, new footwork, coming out of surgery. A lot of reasons to have a slow, uneventful start to camp. Listen, Mike, I know when I saw the question, my first thing was the reason why you don't hear a lot about Trevor, his name is Travis Hunter, right? Am I the problem there? I don't know if it's that simple or not, but that's kind of where I landed. Jordan, what about you?
I mean, he's not a rookie anymore. He's a veteran quarterback. If you're paying attention, you are hearing a good bit about him, right? It might not be the number one story because, again, Kyle is absolutely 100% correct. The number one story every day that you step out on that field is Travis Hunter. It just is. I mean, this guy is a star beyond stars. Not only from winning the Heisman, playing both sides, being the number 2 overall pick that got traded up for as not a quarterback, right? Wide receiver / corner back. And then the YouTube following, the Twitch following. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? But I think Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's gotten off to a slow start. You've had 6 practices. He's 66 of 99, 8 touchdowns, an interception. Oh, it's right there. Yeah. 66 of 100, 8 touchdowns, an interception, 5 drops, 1 dropped interception by Darnell Savage. And obviously just counting stats in practice is kind of not how you should probably be evaluating.
Right.
But that's what people want to see.
Right. You want to know how he's performed, and that is how he's performed. Whether if you haven't heard about him, maybe it's because the toys are very exciting. To your point, Travis Hunter. Like, so I get it.
I'll be honest. If there's one player who's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start at times, it's BTJ. Does that matter? No, not at all.
Did it matter in 2024? No.
But I mean, Trevor Lawrence would have like 2 or 3 more touchdowns if Brian Thomas Jr. just made the plays he normally makes.
Right. So I there's a YouTube short out there on the Duval Dive YouTube. If you ever want to go and check it out, where I said this before training camp, but after Travis Hunter was drafted, I'm like, this was the best thing ever for Trevor Lawrence, because no one's going to be paying attention to Trevor Lawrence. Everybody's going to be paying attention to Travis Hunter, just like everyone was paying attention to Shedeur Sanders, and everyone was paying attention to Travis Hunter, and no one was paying attention to Shedeur Sanders. I mean,
if you're in Cleveland, that's still an accurate statement too, Travis. Let's be real.
This was months ago, and then Brett Coleman just said the same thing on his podcast. It's like, hey, they made Shedeur Sanders be in real conversations as a first-round draft pick quarterback. Like, I'm like, yeah, the fact of the matter is everyone's looking at Travis. Everyone's looking at BTJ. No one's looking at the quarterback. They're looking at the car. They're looking at the engine. And no one's looking at the driver. So all Trevor has to do is not crash this baby and just get the ball to these guys on slants and quick screens and outs and things of that nature, and let them just run for 50 yards. Like, that's fine. Nobody needs to talk about Trevor Lawrence, and he might just have nobody talking about him to 4,500 yards. And I have no problem with that if that's how it works.
Nobody talk about him to 4,500 yards. I like how you put that.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, but like Jordan already showed you the stats. At the end of the day, that's 112 quarterback rating. That'd be the quietest season you've ever seen for a quarterback. Didn't have to do very much, but just ride his wide receivers to an MVP caliber season. If that were to come to pass in the NFL season, that'd be like that Brock Purdy season where people are like, he's not an MVP because he has all these guys. So what? Nobody cares. Just give me the trophy.
Yeah. And hey, who cares about the trophy? Get to the playoffs. Get to the playoffs. Win some games in the playoffs. And that's what Trevor wants too. I mean, he wants that so bad. I know there's been talk this offseason about like his desire and work ethic, and that's BS. I mean, he wants it. And I think you're seeing that. And I think you're seeing that in the way that Liam Cohen talks about how he wants to be coached, how Trevor Lawrence took it upon himself to want to change the footwork at the beginning from shotgun, right? From switching to his right foot forward to his left foot forward. That was Trevor Lawrence saying he wanted to do that because it's something that works from a timing and tempo and rhythm standpoint a little bit better when you're a right-handed quarterback, right? They call it goofy foot. I'm not like an expert on footwork, right? But like this is something he wanted to work on, and they've been supporting him working on it. And he's been so receptive to all the other footwork things where it's just about having your feet in the right place at the right time to get through your reads and be ready to deliver immediately.
Which is something real funny to me, because I thought for a long time that Trevor said it. He's like, I knew this was an issue for a long time. Like I knew it was something I needed to work on eventually. And in my head, I'm like, well, I knew for a while that Doug was never going to be the one to force Trevor to make that change. Like, and I've said it to my guys in the past. I'm like, most quarterback coaches and quarterbacks, former quarterbacks, aren't going to touch the mechanics of a quarterback's like throwing motion if it's working, even reasonably working. Like if it's not a train wreck, basically like an AR-15 situation or whatever, you're probably not touching his mechanics. So it was always going to have to come from Trevor or a coach, or like he's truly on the hot seat and the coach is kind of saying, "No, you got to do it." So outside of that, Trevor finally stepped up and said, "All right, it's got to be done with the new regime." Makes total sense to me.
How many times?
I think it's BS though to not put that on Doug.
Well, it's not just Doug too. I mean, obviously it's easy to put stuff on Urban, but guys, even since his rookie year, he's been talking about footwork after games on why he misses balls high and low. Oh, something with my footwork. Every post game, I felt like I sat in for a loss. Footwork came up, and it was Trevor that said it. So yeah, I think all that is definitely supported.
Yeah, and then he's also for the first time being taught how to better utilize his eyes as a weapon. I think he's always had the shoulders, like he's had the shoulder fakes and the ball fakes a little bit, not like a full on, where you're completely pump faking consistently, but shoulder fakes and the ball fakes a little bit. He's had that, but now being able to utilize the eyes at a higher level to manipulate defenses and open up throwing windows, that could be a big development as well. And he said he was never coached that. Under the last regime,
he said he wasn't never coached that, but I also think that might have been missed. I don't know if he may have stated that in the way that it should have been interpreted. Like I didn't take that as he's never been taught how to use his eyes at all and manipulate defenses at all, versus just that wasn't something that was drilled, because that seems odd for a quarterback at his level. You know what I mean? And I've seen him manipulate safeties, look to the left and throw right, and things along those lines. So that'd be just wild to me if he never coached it.
It's pretty crazy to hear.
But then
again, you're right. He does have it naturally at times, but maybe it just needs to be, again, like you said, drilled.
Right.
And
that's the difference.
Like pointed out consistently talked about.
Right, because Brett Favre is this, and he straight up didn't know what dime defense is. He said he didn't read coverages all the time, and he was just out there just doing what he got to do. So it's not to say it's not possible that Trevor Lawrence was never drilled, never coached this, and just has been getting away on natural talent. That is quite possible. And I don't want to just act like that's not possible. I just think it's unlikely because I've seen him do that on tape on occasion. So it's just like, oh, was that really just you just winging it? And that's how good you are without coaching. Cool. Then we should be in a great spot with you actually getting some real coaching. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And beyond just like the quarterback coaching, just like the design of the offense. I mean, it was significantly below average to now significantly above average, and that's putting it mildly both ways.
No, facts. Well, so we've established that we both feel that this Jacksonville Jaguars offense is going to be, schematically better at minimum. It's going to give Trevor a lot of layups. Yet we've also established that we both believe that the skill position groups are probably at minimum the same as last year, if not probably significantly better. I think I'm leaning on the significantly better part.
Definitely better.
Okay, so then we're all in agreement on that part. Then how are we feeling about the De'Ami Brown over the past few days? Because one of the viewers listeners asked us, Tracer, on the Jaguars, I believe this is the Discord group.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much of De'Ami. How has he been looking? Now, this was the same morning of the practice where he ends up getting the 2 long rushes and the one deep ball. So there is that.
He went crazy yesterday.
Yeah. Did he go crazy? All right, let's give me
2 really long runs. I mean, those were 30 plus yards each before he got touched. A deep ball, and then on the very next play, a short pass right after it, where it's like Trevor just knows he's got him right now, and they don't have an answer for it. And I think I saw Pete Prisco saying that Liam Cohen was really stoked about that deep ball to De'Ami because Trevor was checking into that and telling Liam this is what we need to do, and he was like, "All right, let's do it." And
it was the Zay Jones play from the Chargers game.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah,
that's why. So Trevor called this play just like Trevor called the play in the Chargers playoff game that Zay Jones catches. If you want to get a glimpse of what that may have felt like, that's kind of the play it was.
Yeah. And then also in one-on-ones, he beat Tyson twice. Nobody's beating Tyson right now.
He beat Tyson on like a 7-yard out route on the first one though. That wasn't bad.
It was contested though. Like he was right there and he caught it. It was a good catch.
No, it was strong hands. So when you say he had such a strong day, I'm like, did he? And then you just said, so, like, you kind of selling me like the 2
that was his best day for sure.
It was his best day of camp, but that's so that's the conversation. Bear with me a moment. That's his best day of camp. Yes. He also had 5 consecutive practices where he wasn't there. Like it felt like he wasn't even on the field. You told me he was out on IR or something, I would believe you. Like you did not see him for those 5 days. And that's kind of where that question stems. Like, well, all right, it's cool. So what is this offense if Travis Hunter's playing on defense? Like on those defensive days when it was just BTJ having his struggles and Diami's not there, and everybody keeps saying the defense is dominating. It's like, oh no, the offense is struggling also. Like both things can be true. That's kind of what I'm questioning, and that's been my question from day one: is what is Diami going to be when you need to lean on him? Like I still don't have a good answer on that.
I talked about that this morning on my questions coming out of Jaguars, first week of training camp. Like that was a big question. Like who is or can the aggregate of Diami Brown, Brenton Strange, the rest of the tight ends, and the running backs be enough to be that third option behind Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, who are clearly going to be the top 2 options in the passing game?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that ties to the comment I have below here too. One interesting part of Liam and his offense, says Carthage, will be his ability to change things in game if the system isn't working. Will he be able to adjust and evolve like the best coaches in the league? And oh, by the way, can we please remind everybody that this is a first-year head coach? So as the season goes on, he may even get more comfortable doing that. I know he's an offensive coordinator before, but I think being a first-time head coach matters, and all that is a factor too with that. But to your point, Jordan, if these first 2 options are pulling things open, I like how you mentioned a subset of weapons as the third option. Because if you're trying to take 1 and 2 away from me, right? The great Bill Belichick, what do they all say about him? He tries to take away the thing you like to do most and have you beat him another way. The Jags, according to what you said, and I agree with it, by the way, Jordan, is that their third option is a subset of weapons, right? It's Brenton, it's Travis Etienne, or any of the run backs basically coming out of the backfield that aren't Tank Bigsby in the pass game. It's any of that could be also a factor. And oh, by the way, if you pull that many out of the box, Walker Little might walk somebody and get you an opening for a run. There's that, right? So I think there's a lot of there with what you're saying with the use of Diami Brown in particular as another of the subset of the third option. But, and I think we've touched on it already, Liam Cohen's flexibility and willingness to let players coach, kind of guide or be part of their coaching path rather than be dictated to is huge here.
Well, but that is my true question. It really will come down. And that's my question from day one is what is it going to be with Diami, but also that whole Travis Hunter effect. I mean, obviously you drafted guy number 2, right? He's going to be one of the best players on the field, and he should be, I would hope. And he is. But unfortunately, if you haven't seen the trend so far, whatever side of the ball Travis Hunter plays on is probably going to be the side of the ball that has the best day in practice. Like that's kind of just how this has worked out so far. And with most practices, your best case scenario with this was yesterday. They seemingly were kind of tied, I guess, with Travis Hunter playing on offense. But for the most part, hey, if Travis Hunter plays offense, then the defense had a bad day. Travis Hunter plays defense, offense had a bad day. Like this is kind of what it is. So that's my original question. If BTJ is having a down day, or Travis Hunter's, having a down day, or he's hurt, or BTJ gets hurt, or even Tyson Campbell gets hurt, and they feel like they got to play, Travis Hunter more on defense, something like that. What is this team? Because it feels like they do need those superstar athletes, or they do need those top tier guys to level the playing field. Because if those guys aren't available and that depth kind of comes into play, this is not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster from last year. It's not that deep in that way. So I just got questions on what this is going to be so far early, because again, this may be a 2-year build, and I'm just wondering what does it look like in 2025, and that's kind of the question that I don't have an answer to from training camp just yet.
Yeah,
the good news
Diami Brown be Jalen McMillan.
And the good news is neither does most of the AFC South, so you get a bit of a handicap there.
Well, that's fair. We are the AFC South, and that does help a little bit. You're grading on the curve at that point, so that's fair. You playing against AR-15 and Daniel Jones, and you might get 2 wins there. Cool. No, I got you.
Also, Carlos, that is just savage.
What did Carlos say?
Up earlier, what was it? No one beats Tyson.
No one beats Tyson
But his
but his
hamstring.
hamstring. Oh gosh.
I mean,
That's facts though. If he stays healthy, boy, and that's always been the conversation. I mean, for the last 4 seasons, if Tyson Campbell stays healthy through camp, through the early parts of the season, oh boy. I mean, you're talking Pro Bowl, hell, maybe even all pro seasons. Like, I think that's actually legitimate from his play style. Like, just stay healthy, man. Goodness.
Fair enough.
Oh,
I think it's on to the big question. And when I had told Travis Jordan that you were going to come on with us, he texted me specifically, "Ooh, I want to go over this with Jordan." So let's go ahead and walk through it and get to it. Soup comes in from Blue Sky. Poppy Soup at .bsky.social. Is the offense struggling to complete passes downfield so far? I understand it's camp and not to take anything too serious, but I was just curious. Now, Jordan has already said 66 for 100 with, what was it, 5 picks and
1 interception.
Five drops.
1 interception, 5 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5 drops.
I had the 1, 5, and 8. I just put them with the wrong categories. But nonetheless, I got them wrong in the wrong direction. Jordan's like, no, the real numbers are better.
Right.
So with all that in mind, the deep balls. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's been slightly underwhelming, just keeping it real. A lot of that comes down to Brian Thomas Jr. not making some plays he would normally make, as we've mentioned. A little bit of that has probably come down to Trevor and Diami trying to get that timing down. I would say a little bit of it is just being in a new offense, right? It's early. And also going against a defense that is actively, the design of that defense is to keep things in front of you, right? It's not a man coverage defense. You have Brian Thomas Jr. against man coverage every single day. He's going to make more plays than he is against a zone deep down the field.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's just kind of the way it goes in my mind. And then you also have Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker being big problems for the offensive line. But Josh Cephas has been getting open down the field every day, it seems like. So that is one guy making plays down the field.
So I do think the team has been reasonably fine when you're talking of that 20 to 30 yard range. Like, I think they've been hitting a lot of those catches inside of the hashes. And I think that's been reasonably fine. Like, and again, even Brenton Strange's catch, his long catch in yesterday's practice was one of those that were outside of the hashes, but where he kind of catches it and kind of goes down the sideline overall probably for 30, 35 yards. I think that was reasonable. But what I haven't seen takes me back to one of my original questions on Trevor. And it was always not just a Trevor conversation. It was a Trevor and the type of receivers that he has conversation. And what it is basically, I personally have my feelings that Trevor Lawrence's passes that are in the air over that 35 to 40 yard range are very inconsistent when they're outside of the hashes. This is my personal opinion, and I've thought this for years. Like, and I don't think I've seen very much to show me otherwise, honestly. So all I did was I just looked at over the past few years. We have the underthrown balls. Normally, it's always outside of the numbers when he's going from the opposite hash. He's underthrowing it. When he has guys that should have been beat down the field, like that, there's like that Stingley interception against Houston in last year, like the Calvin Ridley down the sideline catch. Like again, if you guys are watching on the Duval Dive YouTube, I'm kind of just showing the replays of some of these games, like that same Houston game from that season. Again, he has another opportunity, kind of going down the hash. He leaves him inside. Ends up being like more like a skinny post, an underthrown throw to Evan Ingram that the DB is able to make a play on the ball only because the ball was kind of underthrown. And then you see him training this offseason where if you saw on De'Ami Brown's YouTube channel, or you saw on Travis Hunter's YouTube channel, where Trevor Lawrence says it like 3 to 4 times across those practices. Hey, I'll get it out there. Hey, I'll get it out there. Hey, I think I was a little bit late on that. Hey, I thought you were moving. I got you. I got you. Like, he's saying it, so he knows this is a thing where he's just a hair late, a hair underthrown, something along those lines. So I've always seen it, but then I'm seeing it also him talk about it in his own training videos, and I'm like, that's the thing. His receivers.
But then you see some of the deep balls to BTJ last year as well that are like perfectly timed and on the money, and so it's like I think
so. It's like some of them he's good at.
Needs
some
to be
of
more
them,
consistent.
It's the consistency. That's my only thing, because people always talk about that. He's leading the league in deep ball passes, 20 to 30 yards. I'm like, yeah, but don't look at just that data, because that's 20 yards and 30 yards are two different things.
Yeah,
between 20 and 30 yards,
20 to 30 is different than
right.
40.
Yeah,
that's way different than 40. These are different conversations. So like, even AR-15 was good at throwing deep when you're talking 30, 40 plus yards in the air. He just batted all the other stuff underneath. Josh Allen in Buffalo, he's great at throwing deep. I just want Trevor Lawrence to be great at throwing those deeper passes, because you're only going to get 1 to 2 of those a game. And you got to hit them, because if you miss them and you lose a game by 5, nobody's going to point to that one play in the locker room. But you better believe guys are dreaming about that. They're thinking about that night. Like, dang, that was it. That was the play. They just won't say it to you out loud. That's all. So,
well,
again, I'm going to judge Trevor Lawrence as a great NFL quarterback. I'm going to judge him like he's a top 10 guy. And please don't hate on me. Please don't get mad at me, anybody, for saying this. I am only judging him like I would judge anybody else who I consider a top 10 quarterback. Differences make a difference, man. And I'm sorry, those small, every yard makes a difference, and I'm going to judge you like that. Hopefully he'll rise to that occasion.
Yeah, and I do think a big difference too is going to be who he's throwing the ball to more often than not now, again, in BTJ and Travis Hunter. As Brett Coleman said earlier today, how many times did Travis Hunter make Shedeur look like a wizard?
for bad decisions. That's
going to help.
No,
and those two guys are going to help.
Yeah, they revamped that receiver core, and that's also beneficial. And I know folks love Christian Kirk, and I know folks love Evan Ingram, but let's be very clear about something. The Jacksonville Jaguars also were top of the league in drops. They were they were 4th in the league in drops, and they were 28th in the league in on-target catch rate per SIS. Like, they were very religious about not catching contested balls, not catching balls that hit them on the hands, like not catching those touchdown targets, which is why Trevor Lawrence was also top of the league in EPA, for touchdown throws that were dropped.
Yeah,
you can't have it both ways. I might love those guys, but I got to acknowledge everybody was dropping balls other than BTJ, so everybody else got to go other than BTJ. It just kind of made sense.
And those guys never caught contested passes very often. You saw it occasionally, especially more from Ingram than Kirk, but
I feel like the guy that
Trevor Lawrence's best
passes in Trevor Lawrence's tenure was Zay Jones. Is that just me?
It was Marvin Jones.
It was Marvin
Jones was by far his best contested catch receiver of his career until Brian Thomas Jr. and now Travis Hunter.
But that's what made me start feeling this way about Trevor, as far as him being a good quarterback, but also someone who may struggle just slightly on those longer passes. I swear to you, one of my guys said it to me after his sophomore season, after the 2022 season, and I couldn't unsee it. He was like, dude, he has to have a great contested catch guy, because he's always going to give you a small underthrow on those deeper passes. And I was like, nah. And I literally cannot unsee it. And that's why I'm like, I swear to you, there's 15 to 20 more plays that I could have probably put on this video. I just try to cut it at a minute of those underthrown sideline boundary passes, because those are the main ones. It's like the post routes. I think he's
he's good at the post. I was going to say that. And that's Brian Thomas Jr.'s best thing too.
That's it. But it's those boundary throws that I'm talking about. Those ones outside of the hashes, when it's truly just an ISO route between the corner and the receiver, and you got to put it on this dude's hands. Those are the ones that I need more consistency from him. And I think if he can land those, that's the difference between 7 to 14 points a game. Just those two, just that one throw. So I just want to see him. I'm going to judge him like a great, because I think he can be. I just need to see that consistency. That's all.
For sure.
Okay. Well, you're finding the line between where he's at to where you want him to be. I can't knock any bit of that, any way, shape, form, or fashion with that. And I'll add this too. Like we've talked about all the things that Trevor's working on earlier. We were talking about him changing his footwork. I think that's a factor too, and why he may be missing some in camp. So there's
and the timing of the footwork too.
Right. I want to be very clear though. I don't think I've seen Trevor Lawrence miss a lot of those boundary throws in camp specifically. I've seen him miss it in his training videos. I've seen him miss it in 2024 and 2023 film. I haven't seen a lot of him missing it in the camp. They're not on the same page. And I can say that's receiver with the route. I can see that that's guys maybe struggling with the coverage. I can see that just with them playing more zone coverage to Jordan's earlier point and having eyes on the quarterback and just being able to make better plays on the ball. Or it could be
specifically down the field too.
Right, like maybe Trevor could place this one ball a little bit farther. He's still trying to get a little bit more consistency. There may be a mix of all those things. I don't want to put it on one guy, but I just want to point out that is something that I've always seen as a problem, and that is also part of it. It's not just the receivers, it's not just the cornerbacks. It's a mixture of all those things, and he is part of that conversation.
So, and this again, it was said a couple weeks back by here on this show by Jaguars United's Jason Trent, who apparently is the biggest Trevor hater of all time. No, he's not. I'm joking. But what he did say is we know who Trevor Lawrence is. I repeat that we don't necessarily. And hearing about all these things he's changing, seeing all the changes in the offense, seeing the point blank upgrade of the defense just by way of their coaching staff, not even necessarily the roster changes. Although I think we've agreed, Travis, that the tide has risen on the defense as well, from where they were from the floor compared to last year, talent wise over and above, and still 66 for 100, 8 touchdowns, 5 drops, 1 interception. I know, you said, Jordan, it's camp stats, but considering all the above, that ain't terrible in an environment where you're trying ish out. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Travis done well. I think the offense has generally done well when they have Travis Hunter, and I think the offense has even generally done well even in the practice when they didn't have Hunter, but Brian Thomas Jr. struggled that day because if he catches those balls, everybody's feeling better. But overall, I mean, they got work to do. It's training camp with the new offense, and the defense is ahead of schedule because, I mean, it's not very difficult to play zone when you've played zone in multiple years before. Like, defense is just easier to be ahead of the game early on. That we've seen that in multiple different past seasons. So I'm not ready to just so crazy and say Jacksonville Jaguars Super Bowl. Jacksonville Jaguars, great defense. Like, nah, man, they got work to do, and we got to figure out what's going to be what, especially in that opposite safety away from Eric Murray. That's still a conversation, man, and I don't know where it's going to land. I mean, do we really have a situation where it's going to be Dewey Winger starting safety? I mean,
I almost would say I think it's going to be Darnell Savage to start the season. And I didn't even know he was going to make the team. I still don't know that he's definitely going to make the team.
That's
Thank you. I'm happy we said at the same time. All right, cool.
All three of us, I think, at one point said, I don't know if he's on the roster this time, 2 or 3 months ago, and now we're like, he probably going to start.
I mean, if I had to rank him right now, I honestly would rank him Dewey first with Savage second. I don't even know how to feel about that, but that's probably how I would rank it. Dewey 1, Darnell Savage 2, who's third?
Antonio Johnson.
Antonio Johnson, I guess.
He's played with the starters more than anybody else besides those two guys.
Has he though?
Yeah, Caleb Ransaw hasn't played with the starters.
Well, yeah, Ransaw's 4. Yeah, Ransaw's 4 right now until I see otherwise.
Rayon Lane hasn't. Daniel Thomas hasn't.
Yeah. So I guess you're right. Until we see what they do in the scrimmage, and that's when, and I mean, Coach Cohen already said it. Like, that's when you'll start seeing those guys kind of try to separate themselves when we try to get into that scrimmage situation. So lock it in Friday. Jaguar fans, come to the stadium and check it out. You'll see it live. Come to your own conclusions. So who you think took the lead? But I'll be looking out for that other safety position.
The thing about Dewey is, even though he's like not a big guy, he's actually been better closer to the line of scrimmage in his career. Whereas Savage does have range. I mean, he has legitimate range, and you've seen that in practice a few times going back to cover, split safety, split field, right? Cover 2 or cover 4. So that's just I think it's going to come down to what they want. And it could be a rotation.
I was just going to say that. Yeah,
for,
it depends
for
on what they
specific
want.
matchups.
Because if you believe what they did in Green Bay is what is even remotely similar to what they're going to do here, then Green Bay, they never blitzed on first and second down. They were they played a boatload of zone, two high safety looks on first and second down. And then if they played man, it was going to be on third down with a lot of blitzing. That's kind of what it was. So if you just assume that that's what it's going to be here, then you get some Darnell Savage on third down passing scenarios, but then just not have him on the field on first and second down, and just it feels weird. Like they need a guy who can do everything, but I don't know if they have that guy necessarily yet.
Well, it needs to be Caleb Ransaw eventually.
Oh yeah, I think that's what they want it to be, but then they're not going to give it to him. He's going to have to show something, play on the ball to earn it. Which Coach Campanelli said in yesterday's practice. So we'll see. But I mean, that's what I got. Got anything? Got any other?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's not even really like an assumption that that's what the defense will be. Liam Cohen's talked about it. Like they want to be a zone coverage, eyes on the ball, eyes on the quarterback defense, which makes sense for so many of their players. And then Campanelli has said, we got to keep offenses honest. We got to be creative in certain situations. And what is a certain situation? Third down.
I need an obvious passing situations.
Zone, fourth down, end of game. Yeah. So
fair enough. I think we've done plenty to take the temperature here of camp, and it was a great conversation to be had. Thanks again from the commenters. But Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jag. Tell the world where you can be found, my friend.
On Twitter, at Jordan DeLugo. You can also check out the GenJag YouTube channel. It's just at GenJag. We're doing usually 2 daily videos. I actually did 3 today since I didn't have to go to camp.
Look at you.
Travis Hunter, #1 rookie in Madden. I saw that today. 84 overall. So we talked about that. Talked about the questions from camp. And I don't even remember what the other. The Jaguars players under 25 were ranked 8th in the NFL. The group of players under 25, I thought they could have been ranked a little bit higher, honestly, looking at the list. But that's still respectable, right? Or more than respectable. Okay. So you have Trayvon Walker, you have Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence and Tyson Campbell both just missed it. They're both 25 now. Yeah. But you also have Tank Bigsby, Brenton Strange, Anton Harrison. So, they like what they're working with.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good to me. But I'm Travis Holmes. You know where I can be found on all the socials. Travis D. Holmes on Blue Sky. Same thing, Instagram, everywhere, man. But if you listen to the sound of my voice, please follow us on the Duval Dive TikTok. Click that subscribe button on the Duval Dive YouTube and add Big Cat Country to your favorites and stop being lazy, man. You know you already reading it. Just click that favorite button, man. Come on. And we're gonna have you covered, and we'll get you covered with the play-by-plays. And I promise you, they will all line up with Jordan. I swear, I'll try to do my best. Kyle, can you be proud?
Kyle, that's the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Fans First Sports Network covering your Jacksonville Jaguars as well as the Orlando Magic. And now I can finally announce it, producer also for the Bolt Blitz. That's right. I'm covering another team that I am not a fan of, but nonetheless, check out me and Booga Peters this past week. We debuted with Emery Hunt of CBS Sports, Eric Williams of Fox Sports, and of course, Burt Grossman, former Charger defensive lineman. So check that out. That was a great time. Bolt Blitz Uncut YouTube channel, and of course, at Bolt Blitz Uncut on Twitter, as well as my work with the Black and Gold Banneret. UCF football camp getting underway. Spoke with the coaches at Coaches Media Day this past weekend. Check that out on the Night Shift podcast. And of course, me and my guy, I had to give the Night Shift podcast a bell because Don Struble, Donnie Docs, was with me there covering that. Check out his pieces on the blackandgoldbanneret.com. And subscribe to all of those things too for all things UCF. So for our esteemed and incredibly intelligent guest that called out Brett Coleman. You don't get that every day, Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jag. For my personal champion, Travis C. Holmes, for the excellent comment participation, intelligent as always. Thank you, crew. And yeah, for all those that support us. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.